Is it on? Is it on? Is this bitch recording? Is it on? Is it on? I need to fix my little whoop wop. Remember that Love and Hip Hop episode where every time you saw Ray J, it was a different his beanie was in a different position. That was funny. I think this is okay. I think this is okay. All right. Let me see. I don't know what's going on, child. I had it on here earlier, but then I was like, I need to brush my hair. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know you stopped by. Okay, I have my earbuds out. Gotta make sure. What is going on, girl? What is happening? What is going on? What is going on? Can I see? Girl, let me wipe this screen down. Oh my god. Oh my god. Wipe this screen down. Okay, let's do this too. Okay, hopefully. I was feeling hot, girl. Feeling hot, girl. It's a hot girl. Yes, I'm a hot girl. I'm a hot girl. So what is going on, y'all? We don't know what's going on. I have nothing to talk about. Oh, I was down there watching Claudia tell what's her name, Bangkok, that she was ghetto and the nasally voice. She need to get her air passages cleared. Claudia was wearing her out good. And just because people don't like Kenya, they in the comments wearing Claudia out. We didn't like you on the show either. We got no. Kenya can't have nobody defend her. She can't have any protection. She can't have nobody defend her. Cause she pulled Kim's chair out and brought some cookies to the brunch, baby. Tanya left the country, girl. You want to fuck around? Fuck around and find out. Fuck with me. Fuck with me, girl. Okay, let's see what's going on down to the blog. So
I sponsor the now. Yes. I sponsor the blog. Let me tell you something.
We can know what's happening. All right, so let's go to the Jasmine brand says 40 new posts. Did you see Miss Neta reacts to being mentioned on RHOA, says she was supposed to join the cast. So there was a moment, if you didn't watch it, there was a moment where Shamia and Portia, they went out to play little miniature golf, and they were talking about how Kelly calls Angela Miss Netta because of the way she says Charles. And she said that. So then somebody in Miss Netta's live was like, they mentioned you on Real Housewives of Atlanta. When I tell you this lady lies as fast as Drew Zadora, listen to her. Listen.
Wife last night. Probably was, because Drew Fedora, me and Drew Fedora, we reach out. I didn't even look at that. But I might go check it out. Me and Drew Fedora, we've been, conversating and talking on the phone and stuff like that. And I was going to go and appear on Housewives last year when they was filming. But I didn't do it. We didn't have a storyline for me to come on there. But I probably was mentioned on it. I'm going to go and check that out.
Girl, you are just as delusional as Belvedere down there, girl. Just lying. And then Belvedere came out to correct, basically trying to say that Angela doesn't know what she's talking about, and tried to correct it and still lied. Girl, Claudia was like, we went to your LinkedIn. I'm telling you, this is what I said to Nate yesterday. I cannot wait until, Jen Shaw did a bunch of interviews before they found out she was a scammer, a liar, and a cheater. But when they find out, like, it's so crazy how we get, when you watch these hustler documentaries, how we give people who tell flat out lies like super big platforms and visibility. Every place where she was interviewed, I'm going to wonder how they're going to feel, how the editors are going to feel, or the program directors are going to feel to know that when all this stuff comes out, how this woman was a liar. And that's what Kenya should have stayed on. Who is this girl, right? Show pictures of her with her face before she got her plastic surgery or whatever. Then, like, go to her LinkedIn and be like, this is her LinkedIn. The last time she worked with pa 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 pa. Literally, she should have stayed off of the naked pictures. she maybe could have mentioned it. Like, I got a link to her back page if y'all want it, because you know what they do over there, girl. And you're lucky I'm not posting those. So it should have went something like that. I don't know. No, it literally felt like Kenya didn't have any she didn't run it by anybody. As premeditated as it was, it didn't seem like anybody was. I would like to know if anybody tried to talk her out of doing that, right? She had things, I guess she's going to go live today on her YouTube channel to do her confessionals, basically, to talk about. Hopefully it's pre-recorded or something like that. Hopefully it's not necessarily live and it's pre-recorded, and we can get like literally her talking about all the situations. Yeah, I would like to know, was there anybody that said before, like, Kenya, we shouldn't do this, like, like, Kenya, no, this is Kenya, I think this is too much. You don't think this is too much? You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I would have been like, girl, this is a lot. You don't want to just like keep it on the work history and the plastic surgery. I mean, that is her work history, I guess, but still, you understand what I'm saying? I don't know. It's over with now. It's over with. It's done. It's over with. But the girl is still coming down here lying. So let's see. Comedian Michael Blackson calls Jerry Seinfeld overrated. Says Cat Williams' recent stand-up shows were not specials. Were not special. Let's hear what Michael Blackson has to say. Oh, why?
Most overrated comedian of all time. Yeah. Overrated. The hype behind somebody.
Kevin Hart.
It probably, because I try to watch this person. He had a great sitcom, and it was one of my favorite sitcoms. But I was never a fan of his stand-up. Maybe Seinfeld, maybe. His stand-up just didn't do it for me. But I love his show,
But his stand-up is exactly like the show. Like, literally about nothing. Just common things that we don't even fucking think about that are actually super duper funny. That is Jerry Seinfeld's comedy. Now we can go into Jerry Seinfeld's archive and pull out him when he was dating Shoshana. She was 19. I think he was 33. Here, let me go. How old was Jerry Seinfeld when he dated Shoshana Lowenstein? She was 17. He was 38. That's what I'm telling you. We can go back. I love Jerry Seinfeld as a comedian. I love Seinfeld. I still watch Seinfeld. I love Seinfeld. All of the, like, when I say yes, all of them, yes, all of them. 38 years old with a 17-year-old. What the fuck are y'all talking about? What the fuck are y'all talking about? They began dating in 1993. That's so disgusting. She was a high school student who he met in Central Park in 1993. She was 17. He was 38. Okay, let's finish listening to what Michael Blackson has to say.
Show. But his stand up, I never could really like sit and watch. Watch his stand up. I probably trying to think. I can't. I think everybody else that I like, even. I think at one point I think Cat was so great. I mean, I don't think Cat is like his last few specials has not been special to me. You know what I'm saying? It hasn't been special to me. This last one,
I don't know about the last one. I didn't watch the last one, but there was another one. I think it was like a year and a half ago that was on Netflix that I was like, no, Cat. No. Like, these jokes seem like they're recycled. The jokes about women were like so like literally like, you need to update your operating system. You do. That's what I thought about Cats. Not this it was he just had one recently. I say within the last 9 months, but then there was another one that was on Netflix, and I think that was like a year and a half ago. I guess I can go look it up.
I didn't like them. Just the last four was not that great, but Cat went through some moments in his life but but he's still a legend, and I still love this guy. And he, of course, he opened a way for a lot of us to to even be greater and greater. You know what I mean? But like he should probably like take a break from doing a special, unless like give it a long break. I think specials should be. You can't put them out every year. It's gonna water down. Give it like 3-4 years. That's when you do it. He's been doing it back to back to back, and that's probably why it's like, give it some time, cat, and come back. And let it miss the special. Don't shoot one a year later, shoot another one, like shoot another one. And specials takes time to really build. And I can't talk shit. It ain't like I got specials out there, but that's because I never gave an opportunity. Netflix never say, "Hey, Mike, want to do a special?" HBO never said when if they tell me they want it, I'll go give it to them. But like I said, what I'm doing now is I know what I got to do. I got to go and do it myself. I got to shoot my own movie and put it out. I got to shoot my special and sell it to them. I got to go and pitch my own TV show. I got to go do y'all got to put my money where my mouth is. I got to go do what the Wayans brothers did. Back in the day. And pretty much if you got you gotta put your own money in your own place. Like Country Wayne, that's what he did. Spend his own money, do his own thing.
Okay, so Cat Williams had a special called World War III in 2022, and then had Great America that was in 2018, and then Woke Folk is his most recent one. So I haven't watched. Well, I usually I like comedians, so I usually watch just to see. So the last one that I watched of Cat Williams, I was like, no, Cat, this is not it. Your jokes are not landing for me. And I always like to look like Dave Chappelle is another one of my favorite comedians. He and I share a birthday, along with Ava DuVernay and Elizabeth overseeing Corinne Steffens. We all share a birthday. We all share a birthday. But he is also, but as he's aged and what he concentrates on, as I can see these men as they age. Oh, I got something for y'all to listen to from Kumo D, of all people. What When we get older, it's like what they're talking about, it doesn't resonate. It doesn't resonate with me anymore. I've always liked Dave Chappelle. I love Jerry Seinfeld. I love a dry comedian, and he's literally he just makes things that we don't think about that are funny. And I'm trying to think, there was a silverware joke that he made, and I can't remember the joke, so I'm not going to even try. But I think Seinfeld's funny. And then like saying that you like his show, but you don't like him, when the comedy is literally the same dry ass comedy. Him and Larry David did great with Seinfeld. Like I still watch Seinfeld. I still watch Golden Girls. I still watch them old shows because they're just good and funny. But Seinfeld is always funny, and it's still funny. And because he's just talking about regular stuff, like the show is literally like a show about nothing, and it's still relevant. Like these kind of interactions with people, it's still funny. So yeah. So let's see, like read a couple of comments. I can tell you who is underrated, Mark Curry. I know he cannot mention his whole name, but is he funny in any way? Now Michael Blackson, Cat William headlines, knock it off. Where's your comedy special? Kevin Hart. Like I say, I think Kevin Hart is overrated. And some people might not. Some people just love Kevin Hart. I don't. I put him and Tiffany Haddish in the same section. I don't know what the fuck they be talking about, girl. Okay. I guess he's entitled to his opinion. Yeah, that's all we're doing all day is giving our opinions on people. But Kat's more recent approach to comedy isn't for those who lack critical thinking skill. Cat makes you think and laugh. No, you're not a fan of Cat Williams because unless your thinking skills, maybe mine are a little, I don't know. Okay, I can't say where people are in the level of critical thinking. So I don't know. But I gotta go watch Woke Folks. So I haven't watched the last special. That's all I'm saying. So let's hear what Kumo D has to say. So remember a couple weeks ago, I was talking about John Cena, and we talked about what he said about not having kids and how he really wants to experience life, and he is with a partner who also doesn't want to have kids. He feels like he wants to experience life and not have the responsibility of children. And I said that I really appreciate that. I actually like can respect that approach and perspective. So now Kumo D has come down and says he told Willie D that he didn't have children intentionally. He intentionally went through his life and did not have children. And I want you to listen to him, and then I'm going to read a couple of comments. Hold on. Let me I should have been doing that while I was talking to you, but listen to this. All right, here it is. Kumo D explains why he deliberately refused to have children. I'm going to read the caption. Oh, he's 62 years old. He's made it, because a lot of these, they're not. Listen to this.
Got kids? No. No kids. Intentionally. And you did. And why? I did not want, and this is from childhood, and I said one thing that people don't pay attention to, my opinion. In poverty, the boy and the girl is pitted against each other. We're attracted to each other while simultaneously being pitted against each other. The girl definitely wants to have children, and the boy definitely does not want to actually go broke trying to have a child or whatever. So a lot of times, you want to have sex, but you don't want to be a man yet. You want to grow up like a boy, but you still want to have sex. The girl wants to have sex, and I've been in this situation lots of times. She wants to have sex with me because she's a little girl, but she wants to be pregnant. I'm like, I'm not trying to have babies. So I had that mentality from very early. And you used to always say back in the day when I was younger, I needed a woman to be a girl to think beyond her maternal instinct. Just like a boy has to think beyond his youthful carnal instinct, quite frankly. Because a lot of times we thinking, I want to get it, I want to get it. But if you understand what comes with getting it, then you think differently about it. You have to grow up to realize the consequences that come with that. And again, when a girl gets pregnant, you have no right over what she does with her body. So if she wants to have a baby, you have a baby whether you want it or not. So I was very aware of that very young. That was what kept me off it from the very beginning. So
Simple math.
I was not ready to have a child when I didn't want to have a child. I didn't want to have that extended to the older age because I just didn't trust very easily either way. And having you make a decision for me, like having a child, was a very frustrating concept for me to grasp and come up with when I was younger. We're pitted against each other because of poverty. And the poverty circumstance is dictating more the decision for me than the actual carnal lust situation. I needed a girl to think beyond her maternal instinct. That's different. You got kids?
Black men don't typically have those type of conversations. They have to have some traumatic event happen to them in order to come to that kind of realization, to where they deliberately, just because they exist, they don't believe that they deserve offspring. And I don't know about the poverty part of it, how boys and girls are pitted against each other. I think that's just society. What girls are taught to run towards, boys aren't taught to run towards the same thing, period. And that's why women are always chasing men and men are running in the opposite direction. You are socialized, women are social, girls to women are socialized from the beginning to be caretakers and to believe that being nurturing, quote, nurturing, is something that's innate, when it's actually something that you're kind of taught to do. And you can also teach boys to do that too. But because of the society that we live in, where we frown upon a boy being connected to anything feminine, we don't give him like baby dolls and stuff like that in order to also train him. You can, the way that girls are effectively socialized to believe that it's just innate and I have a maternal instinct. No, that's not true, right? You have a socialization that tells you this is what you do. You're supposed to take care of children. You're supposed to help people when they feel sick. You're supposed to wrap up your little baby's arm when you know play like the baby broke its arm. You understand what I'm saying? So you're doing everything, the caretaker. And so you learn and you are socialized to be nurturing, and boys are not socialized like that. But the way that girls are socialized and how effective it is, to the point where there are people who say that it's natural for girls to women to act like that. And so much so that when a woman doesn't exhibit what you believe is natural, then something is wrong with her, right? When a woman doesn't feel that maternal quote instinct, it's because, no, ma'am, you're not socialized to be a mother. That's not what it is. You're not socialized to be maternal. We know that's not how any of this goes. And so because you believe, oh my God, I don't have these feelings for this kid that I have, or I don't want to go and run and help somebody right away, you think something is wrong with you. And it's not. You're just don't want to do it. For men, they are taught to run away from anything that has to do with being in a relationship or anything like that. Only time they're like, oh, I want to be in a relationship, it's when it's time to, I want labor, I need help, I need help, right? Kumo D deciding that he doesn't want to have children and taking that and understanding, like it's really simple math, understanding that if I get somebody pregnant, because my orgasm can produce a child, hers does not. So if I can produce a child, and then once I fertilize a seed in this woman, then she can do whatever she wants with that baby. I have no control over that. And because I have no control over what she does, I'm going to control myself. I'm going to control my body. But we live in a world where we say a man gets a woman pregnant. You got pregnant, right? He impregnated you, right? So we live in a world that says, okay, well, it's all on her. She's the one that needs to get the birth control to make sure she doesn't get pregnant. She's the one that has to have the IUD, whatever contraceptive she needs to make sure she doesn't get pregnant. Nothing is promoted to the man whose actual orgasm, having sex, a woman having sex for pleasure, doesn't produce a child. A man having sex for pleasure can produce a child because your biological function and your orgasm come out at the same time. So in an effort to be like, okay, I need to control what comes out of my body and where it goes, once it's in the host, I don't have any control over it. And I don't want to be in any position because I don't want kids. So I'm going to make sure I control myself. I feel like him and John Cena need to be on a panel together. I feel like more boys to men need to be taught. You need to have control over what comes out of your body. Do not think that someone else is going to have measures in place to make sure they don't get pregnant. Because once it leaves your body, sir, you don't have no say. You have literally no say on what she does. She can have an abortion or she can bring it full term. You have no say on what. But if it gets here, the law under the system that you live in says you got to take care of it. And that's why so many women end up in like that mortality rate for pregnant women, like in their pregnancy, is really, really high. Because instead of the man controlling what comes out of his body, he wants to kill the woman because she's actually going to produce the baby. And so he ends up killing the woman. We hear about it all the time. We hear about it all the time. The poverty thing, I don't know what he's talking about. I don't understand it. I just think that it's the way that we're socialized. My comment, I said, Kumo D is speaking to how we're socialized to interact with each other. We are socialized to believe just because we exist, we should be partnered. A lot of women believe just because they exist, they're supposed to have babies. And a lot of men believe just because they exist, they deserve offspring and children. And then there are other men who do not want children, who do not want to take care of them, who just want to have sex and not take the responsibility of making sure they don't impregnate any woman by having a vasectomy or taking whatever measures you need to take. He's speaking to not falling into that socialization and actually taking control over his life, his body, and not leaving it up to someone else. Him and John Cena need to be on a panel together because John Cena has also made a conscious effort to be without children. I love his message. I think more boys to men need to hear this message. If you don't want to have children, take the proper steps that you don't have children, because if you get a woman pregnant, that is her body and she can do whatever she wants with whatever is in her body. And let's read some other comments. He said a whole lot of nothing. In my opinion, he should have just left it at, I just ain't want no kids. Why? Because then you would have been in the comments, Stephanie, saying, well, why doesn't he want kids? I think the explanation that John Cena gave was good. And I think this explanation is good. How he got to it, something about poverty, I don't quite understand what he's talking about, but everything else I can get jiggy with. And I can respect that. And also, I would ask Kumo D, well, why wouldn't you get a vasectomy? There's so many men in society that believe like a vasectomy is like a castration. They really believe that. And them not being able to impregnate whoever they lay their dick in makes them believe that their balls are being cut off. But then when the babies get here, you down there like Anthony Edwards, and you don't want to take care of the kids. You don't want to take care of, I don't want to have nothing to do with the kids. So why don't you take the measurements? Why don't you take, I think more athletes should do that. As soon as they get into the league, have a vasectomy. Because girl, y'all be sitting ducks and just dumb. And y'all just like to ejaculate in anybody who will let you ejaculate in them. And then you be looking stupid. Like, I don't want no babies. Well, have a vasectomy. I really believe it. But and then just like the rest of society, in this world, there are no laws that govern man's body. We now want to govern your body. We can't we can't put controls on men. They refuse to put controls on men. I feel like somebody said it the other day, like boys should have vasectomies right away. And then you should have to earn that you have to have a child. You get to a certain age. Wouldn't that be amazing? Have vasectomies at birth. Have vasectomies at birth. The way that you do your little circumcisions, have vasectomies at birth or at what do you call it, puberty. And then say, not until you're ready, then you can come back and have a reverse vasectomy. If you are a U.S. citizen and you have proven to us that you can take care of a child, that you can do blah, 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 and blah, 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 and blah, 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 then you can have a baby. You can have your vasectomy reversed and you can go out and have a child because you have proved that you can do it and you're able to do it. If not, then just don't have any children. But see, having unplanned children, really, maybe that's the poverty part that he's talking about. Maybe that's it, because it really produces a bunch of people who really don't want children, who should not be, who are not protecting themselves. There are measurements that we could put in place for people not to have children. But I love the fact that these men, even though they're socialized to spread their seeds, really it's spreading their fertilizer, but you go out there and do whatever you want, and it's her responsibility. Whatever comes out of your body, it doesn't matter. Let it be her responsibility. Let us build a society where women are injecting themselves with all kind of fucked up hormones so that they don't get impregnated by you, when you could just have a vasectomy and earn your way to a reversal of your vasectomy. That's what I would do if I ran the land. I agree with that. Let's read some more comments. Everybody don't want no damn kids. Damn, y'all talking about, well, you still can't afford them, or what happens after you become a man. It doesn't matter. He's well aware he didn't want to bring kids into the world, and he was right to feel like that. Unlike some men that knock y'all up and don't do shit when they knew he wasn't ready or in the right mindset to be a father, and you wasn't really ready to be a mama, but y'all steady bringing kids into the world that you're not ready for. He had a better mindset than most, in my opinion. I agree. I think like that mindset that he has. And then DJ Quick is in the comments talking about, he sounds like something traumatized him. Probably watching men not taking care of their motherfucking children. That's what probably traumatized his ass. You've never been in love. That's not real. That's not real. And that's what gives men who don't deserve offspring access to women. Love. You don't deserve access to women just because you love them. You don't deserve to have offspring just because you love somebody. Nobody's making offspring off of love. Oh, they were made from love. Shut up. Because when it's time for y'all to get a divorce, y'all hate each other. So I don't give a fuck what y'all say. That's to give average men who don't deserve offspring access to you. Love and romance gives them access to you. If you were to truly operate in a society, which you already do, but you fake like you're in monogamous relationships, but you're already in relationships with men and they have multiple partners. Not you, some of y'all. And they already have multiple partners. You're already sharing dick, and you're already sharing niggas with resources. You're already doing it. But you have the one girl that is saying, oh, I'm his girlfriend and we're supposed to be monogamous. And you know he's not monogamous because he has resources. And then you just like act like, oh my God, he's cheating on me. He's cheating on me. He's cheating on me. Instead of just being like, yes, I'm in an open relationship with this guy. He has resources. He has several other girlfriends. Stop acting like y'all are in monogamous relationships, especially with anybody that's sweating under lights for money. Stop acting like you're in monogamous relationships with them. Stop putting yourself through the mental anguish of acting like you're supposed to be in a monogamous relationship. You ain't leaving, so you know you're in an open relationship. So just call it what the fuck it is. And what happens is, if the girls were just honest and forthright, like, yeah, I'm over there, like them girls over there twisting Neo's pockets. Do you think when that nigga's dick gets floppy and old and shriveled up, that them girls are they're gonna leave? They are going to leave when them pockets start, when that little well starts just going bloop, 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 they gonna get their asses up out of there. Trust and believe. Go to the man with the resources. Work his motherfucking pockets. Stop acting like y'all in monogamous relationships with these niggas. Stop acting like it, because you're not leaving. You're not leaving. You're not going anywhere. Stop acting like it. Kirk and Rashida, we in an open relationship. Girl, he does whatever the fuck he wants to do. Stop acting like y'all in these monogamous relationships. Stop it. You put yourself through so much anguish about that. You're not leaving, so you are in fact in an open relationship. You're just acting like it's supposed to be monogamous. You knew good and goddamn well this nigga with a $92 million contract was not going to be honorable to you in the way of monogamy. Girl, please. And if y'all would just be open and honest about sharing these niggas, because they got the resources, the niggas with no resources wouldn't get the access that they have to you, and that you fall in love with, and you bank your entire future on his potential. He honestly said a bunch of nothing, but I do understand being born into poverty and seeing the family dynamic done wrong more than right, with a bit of selfishness in there. Not my story, but but that part I do understand, which led him to ultimately being childless today. You got to be mentally ready and financially prepared to have children. He's keeping it 100. The brother said a whole bunch of nothing. Just say I didn't want children. But then everybody would be in the comments and say, well, why didn't you want children? And you have a man being able to verbalize why he doesn't have children, just like John Cena. When I tell you I respect the hell out of that, I do. I respect the hell out of that perspective, that approach. You know you don't want to have kids. I would ask Kumo D, did you have a vasectomy? Because you can have a vasectomy and you could still, have fruitful relationships and let women know I have a vasectomy because I don't want children. That's it. I really think like athletes and stuff should do that. Like once y'all get your contracts, if I was a manager, I would tell my client, go get a vasectomy. You're not gonna get. We're not doing any traps out here. Anyways, so yeah, I respect the hell out of that perspective and that approach to having children. I think more men should have that approach, but you have men who believe like, just because I exist, I deserve children. I deserve offspring. No, you don't. Just because you exist doesn't mean you are here to have children. Just because you exist just because you have a vagina or a uterus does not mean that you are here to have children. Does not mean that you have to use your uterus to have children. Does not mean that. I think more women and more men need that drilled in their head. Take the poverty aspect out of it, it still applies, right? But the truth is, people are having children that they're not prepared for, and probably putting them in, under the poverty level or whatever. And that happens. People having children. And I heard Iyanla say this once before, that people who are impoverished or in low income, they tend to have a lot of children. Iyanla said this because sex makes them feel powerful. So the consequences of it, by getting pregnant or whatever, getting STIs, STDs, pregnant or whatever, that doesn't matter. But being able to have sex, and that's when they feel the most powerful. So that's why there's a lot of like, it's like that low vibration is only focused on fucking, fighting, survival, lack, poverty. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like all of that comes in there. And so if I'm residing at that low level, I have this need to survive. And so I'm just going to keep fucking and fucking and fucking and fuck because I'm in survival mode. So I'm just going to fuck. Right? And now you have a bunch of children. You have these men that have 10 children, 12 children, 13 children. And nobody is taking care, nobody is protecting their bodies. These men are lying about how many children that they have. You think it's you're the only one with a child. No, he has 13 children. Not responsible, not taking responsibility. I am all for men taking responsibility of whether or not they want children. And that's the thing. I always say they want children, but they don't want to be fathers, right? They want offspring. They want to know that their bloodline continues. They're not gonna, like I said, a lot of men believe that if they have a vasectomy, it's like cutting their balls off. But if I was a sports agent, client, and manager or something, I would say go have a vasectomy. You're not about to be tricked into nothing. We're not playing these games where you're gonna be fucking everybody and babies are gonna be coming up. We're not focused on that at all. So in order to keep your head clear throughout your career, get a vasectomy. If you decide you want to get married, you can get the vasectomy reversed. But coming into the league, you getting a vasectomy. What's the downtime? 2 or 3 days? 2 days? We'll do it on a Friday. You be ready back to work by Tuesday, girl. I was a sports agent, I would tell my client to have a vasectomy. We not, you're going to keep all your damn money. It's not going to no cash register babies. We're not doing that. And I don't know why they don't tell them. I would. But you have to get that mentality away. Like you got to dead that mentality that, you're less of a man if you're not, if you don't have children. It's not a seed, it's fertilizer. There it is. Okay. Yeah, this was on the 7th. Okay, so it says, biologically speaking, sperm functions more like a fertilizer than a seed. The reason people call it seed comes from older metaphors and cultural language rooted in ancient understandings of reproduction. Historically, many societies believe that a man planted a seed in a woman who was seen as the soil or vessel for growth, which mirrored farming imagery. It wasn't until more modern science revealed that both egg and sperm contribute genetic material equally that we get more of an accurate picture. Still, the old metaphor stuck around in language and culture. So while it's not scientifically precise, seed is a leftover form of pre-scientific worldviews, more poetic than factual. That's what I'm saying. Cut that shit out. Stop calling we gonna spread our seed. Girl, that you're spreading manure, fertilizer. That's exactly what the fuck it is. Yes, it's manure. So if you want them niggas spraying they manure all up in you, no thank you. Anyways, I gotta go. I gotta go. I just wanted to share that about Kumo D. I thought that was very interesting. But people, they don't want to hear stuff like that. It's really weird how I didn't understand a damn thing he was saying. Some people are confused. Bro could have just said children are not for me and called it. A whole synopsis was unnecessary. I don't understand why you guys don't like for people to explain themselves, but then when they don't give enough information, you're asking a bunch of fucking questions. I don't understand that. Most of these guys need this approach. After a certain age, it sounds like he never wanted to find a woman to marry and start a family with. And just because you exist does not mean you're down here to, quote, start a family. This might be a solo trip for you. And solo doesn't mean that you are without people around you. Do you understand what I'm saying? I think that's where people get like, you're supposed to have this lifelong partner. You're not a fucking penguin. That's not happening. Lifelong partners. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. All right. All right. So I'm going to end it there. He basically said women in our culture can't be trusted to have kids for the right reason. You see how they flip it? So in order to avoid that potential life altering decision, he'd rather not just deal with a woman. Giving a woman your seed is giving her control over you in more ways than most people stop and realize. I'm married and 46. My husband and I are cool on not having kids. Quiet house, sleep in, come home from work, eat or not eat, if that's what we want, go to bed without reviewing homework or yelling to a little one about too much screen time, money to ourselves, Mo D chilling, and I get it. I understand it too. It went over a lot of people's heads. I see from the comment, he's explaining a big issue in our community that probably most of y'all are caught up in and think it's normal. I bet most didn't marry before having kids or actually plan for them. So it's not about getting married, because getting married before, after, during, in between, it doesn't mean anything at all. Getting married, attaching yourself legally to another human being, has nothing to do with the relationship to the child. It doesn't. Okay, because when people are not married, you're supposed to maintain the relationship to the child. So whether you're married or not, maintain the relationship with the child. Most people don't plan. That's what I'm saying. A lot of pregnancies are unplanned. That's why they want to take away the right for you to get an abortion, because that unplanned pregnancy that you may have, we don't want you to get rid of it. You know why? Because we need a workforce. We need you mules. We need you cows, you heifers, to produce children, especially in this particular system. We need workers. That's why they're upset about the birth rate. Women are having babies later. That's going to put a gap in the workforce. Where are all those people that are supposed to be in their 20s? Where are these 40-year-olds or these 20-year-olds or these 30-year-olds having children? And so now they're about to enter the workforce. When there's a gap, what's going to happen? We'll see.
Expensive thing here. Let's talk about a very expensive thing here. $1,000. That's how much parents of just one little boy or girl are paying for diapers per year, up nearly 50% since the pandemic.
Wow. So that doesn't even cover the other necessities that will cost you when bringing home a new baby, of course. As Ted Linder reports, those rising prices is something researchers say is impacting birth rates in America.
If the children are our future, how bright will it be in the midst of declining birth rates?
Over the past 10 or 15 years, birth rates are falling. People are concerned about that, about the implications for population structure in the United States, for the economy.
The latest data from the CDC reveals the number of births last year dropped by 2%, with the general fertility rate also down 3%, a historic low. While researchers from the Ohio State University say many factors can contribute to the fall, the decline isn't because most Americans have less desire to start a family.
There are some small increases in the number of people who say they want to be childless, have no children. But basically, the number of children people want is pretty stable. It's right around 2 children.
Population experts say many young adults think it's critical that those who become parents be the best guardians they can be.
To be physically present for your child, to be emotionally connected to your child.
But according to Professor Sarah Hayford, the steep costs of having and raising a child, as well as other economic uncertainties and housing concerns, are making young people scared or unable to have kids.
If they don't feel like they can provide for their child the way they want to provide, financially, emotionally, caretaking, they think it's better not to have children than to be a bad parent.
Hayford says it's important to respect people's choices to not have kids, but calls for strategies to make parenthood easier for those who seek it, including efforts to bolster home construction, job creation, and lower child care and health costs. Ted Linder, Fox News.
Because we're seeing the effects of the birth rates going down and the fertility rates. Women are not having as many kids, and some women are opting out completely. Some women are choosing solo motherhood. They're doing it on their own. The marriage part of the equation has nothing to do with nothing. It comes with planning a child, planning your family. That's why the people are over there with their necks cranked around at Quad, because she planned. She made sure she did not get pregnant by a man who's undeserving of offspring. Whether she used him for social status, he used her ass too. The truth is, she made sure her body didn't produce a child for him. Whether she was having protected or unprotected sex, she went on to stop having sex with him. I'm not having sex with you at all. I want to make sure I don't have a baby with you. But I'm going to put whatever I need to do with my body to take control of my body and plan the pregnancies that I want to have. Most people don't plan pregnancies. Most people don't plan. I don't give a fuck what y'all say. Most people don't plan pregnancies. It went over a lot of people's hair. I bet most of you didn't marry before having kids or actually plan for them. You were just moving out of emotion and lust, now subsequently going through the motions. He understood early that he didn't want to put himself in the majority of circumstances. Why is it so wrong not to have kids? I don't want kids, and anybody that doesn't like my decision can kick rocks. And his view is almost like, I don't want to have an unplanned pregnancy, because the truth of the matter is whatever she does with the baby can affect my life. So like I said, I wonder if he had a vasectomy. Anyways, that's all I got to say for today. Take care of each other, protect your energy. Let's get down in the comments. Peace.